Multiplication and division are the arithmetics that we use to understand groups and areas. Let's start with something simple. I like to teach this really early on. I don't wait until the 3rd grade because I feel like they can handle it. It's just manipulating things. So we're going to start with this, 3 times 2. That's 3 groups of 2. It's really easy for them to see that 3 groups of 2, or 3 times 2, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we'll also draw this problem. Let's get that 6 out of the way. If we've got 3 on this side and 2 on this side, that means we've got 2 rows and 3 columns, then we're going to get 6 boxes out of this. Okay, so 3 times 2 is 6. This also helps them see that 2 times 3 is 6, because regardless of how you draw this rectangle, as long as you're drawing it correctly, regardless of how you draw the rectangle, whether you have it vertical or horizontal, you're still going to get 6 boxes. When you get to something a little more complicated, let's do another more complicated problem. Let's do 14 times 3. Traditionally, you're going to go 4 times 3 is 12. You're going to carry this little 1 guy up here. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. You get 42. Okay, that's a great step-by-step how to do it, but let's do it in a way that actually means understanding. 4 times 3 is 12, so we're going to put 12 right here. 3 times 1, this isn't actually 3 times 1, it's 3 times 10. 3 times 10, 3 tens is 30. And we get 42. A little bit longer, but we're understanding what's going on. Now, if we were going to draw this out, we'd have 14 across the top, and we'd have 3 this way, and we could count all those boxes. But another way to do it here is breaking the 14 up into parts that we know. Again, 10 is our best friend. 10 is our best friend. Put 10 here. We've got 4 over here on this side. We've got our 3 rows. And now we're going to count up what all these boxes mean. But now we have to see that these boxes right here is not just 1 box. This is a 10 box. And these are 4 over here. Now I can break these up so they can actually see that it's 4. Now we're going to count what all this is. So each one of these is 4, so we've got 4, 8, 12, got 12 over here, and here we've got 10, 20, 30. 30 plus 12 is 42. That's what our answer is going to be. Let's do something even more complicated. And again, they're seeing that there's an area there. They're looking at groups. They're seeing areas. They're seeing what multiplication is used for. Let's do a more difficult one. Let's do 13 times 27. Okay? I won't do it traditionally, but let's look at doing it the long ways. And I think I may have written this a little bit too large, but I can move over to the next area if I need to. 7 times 3 is 21. 7 times 10 is 70. 20 times 3 is 60. And 20 times 10 is 200. Now, when I'm adding all these up, I've got 1, 20 plus 70 plus 60. Okay, we're adding all these up together, and you can just add them in your mind at this point. Or 7 plus 6 is 13, plus 2 is 15, but because we're dealing with tens, it's 150. And 200 is over by itself. It's just as 200. Add all these up. You get 351. And you see what you're actually doing. You see how all the numbers are actual quantities that you can do. So let's look at it in box form. Let's draw our box here. And break this up into 10 and 3. and break this one up into 20 and 7. 20 times 10 is 200. 20 times 3 is 60. 10 times 7 is 70. And 7 times 3 is 21. When I add all these things up together, I get 351. So I can see how I'm seeing an area, I'm seeing groups, I'm seeing what multiplication is actually doing for me. And when you do division, you're going to do division the same way, teaching it that division is just the reverse. You're just dividing things up into pieces. So let's start with something simple. Let's start with 6 divided by 3. I have 6 pieces, or 6 circles, 6 marbles, 6 blocks, whatever I have. Let them get used to the language, have them do this when they're young. And I'm going to divide it into 3 groups. Okay? For us, it was really easy because I'd say, let's say we have 6 cookies, and I'm going to give that to 3 of you. How many cookies does each person get? Divide it into 3 groups, and each person gets 2 cookies. 6 divided by 3 is 2. They can see it. When it gets to be more complicated, you're just going to teach them long division. They've already understood at this point that division is the opposite of multiplication, so you don't really need to have them understand division any other way than that. So they don't need to see the way that division works necessarily with their math. They can do it with long division. Go ahead and teach them long division if you want them doing it on paper, or give them a calculator.